All right, let's get this YouTube video cracking. We're gonna be growing this channel literally from scratch. So here's one of the very first videos that I'm gonna make for you. The title of this video is gonna be called, Here's What I'm Building as a 25-year-old Entrepreneur. Now, my name is Eliam Fuentes. I am a professional public speaker and a coach, facilitator, trainer, all the different things of the sort, especially using my voice. Essentially, I'm a professional yapper. I use my voice to communicate and I get paid from it. And now we're building a public speaking and communication company that I'm going to share with you exactly what is it that we're building. Now, here's the thing. There's no script, there's no teleprompter, there's no pitch or anything up in the sort of like that. I'm going to be speaking straight from my heart, from my mind to the dome, meaning if there's stutters inside the video, if there's ums or ahs inside the video, honestly, I don't really care because I'm not here to portray any type of personality. I'm not here to portray any type of ego or get you to like me or get you to think I'm someone that I'm really not, because this is honestly how I speak. This is how I communicate, especially when I'm on stage, when I'm talking to friends, when I'm teaching my students and coaching people. And that's how I'm going to speak to you as if you are the camera. So the way I'm going to look at the camera is if there's a real human being right there and I'm here to just pour out my heart, pour out my wisdom and teach you something so you can learn and ultimately grow into a better version of yourself. Because at the core of it, at the core of all the value that I provide to the world and the services, it's so that you can live a better life, so that you can live a transformed life. It's that by consuming this type of content, consuming this YouTube video right now, that you're taking notes, that you're learning something, and that you're applying it into your life. And when you apply it into your life, you get 1% better. You level up just one more person. You level up another level. Now, here's the thing. Master Communicator University is the company we're building. Now, let me give you a quick origin and a recap of my journey so you can know who I am, and then we'll get straight into the learning right here. Quick recap of my journey is that I was born and raised in South LA. I grew up in the hood. I grew up to Salvadorian American parents, and I did not know how to speak English to save my own life. Literally, growing up in the hood, I faced so many different traumatic, life-defining experiences that could have scarred me for the rest of my life. But we decided to transform that and let that go. You know, I've seen murders, I've seen violence, I've been abused in so many different ways. But here's the thing. I'm not going to let my past define who I am. And so neither should you. Neither should you. Now, look, I didn't know how to communicate when I was a little boy. I didn't learn how to speak English until I was 8 years old. The kids used to make fun of me, laugh at me, bully me, ridicule me, all these different type of things. And ironic enough, 20 years later, I'm building a communication company. Why? Because this company is founded from pain that I have felt and pain that you may have felt too as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue sharing this story. Now, over the time as I grew up in LA, faced all this violence and saw all these different things. I wasn't born into a rich family, a middle-class family. No, I was born into a poor family. My parents ended up working super hard for the rest of their lives, and they still work hard to this day until I retire them. Now, here's the thing. My family ended up splitting up for a bit. We ended up moving to the desert, and when I was in the desert, I had a lot of anger, a lot of isolation, a lot of frustration. I did not like being there because I had big dreams. I knew that I was meant for more, and I knew that I was going to accomplish something, and I didn't want to be stuck there. So throughout those moments, I've also faced other defining moments that built up all this resentment in me. And I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to put my head down to work. I got into the academic route, became a valedictorian at my high school. Ironic enough, I decided to give a speech in front of my entire high school. That was the first time where I finally felt heard. I finally felt understood. And I finally had this sense of power like, oh my goodness, my voice actually matters. And I was so astonished by it. I was hooked by it. And I loved it ever since right there. Because, like, this is the thing. I overcame the fear of public speaking at a really young age. Don't get me wrong. I still have those nervousness and those fears at times. But it's something that you would practice and develop over time and get rid of. You can. So here's the thing. After I graduated high school, I decided to go the college route because that was my escape plan. I put my head down to work. I went to college. I got a business degree. I got a part-time sales jobs at Metro Piece of Shit, which is now called Metro by T-Mobile, where I used to sell trap phones to all different types of people. I remember that job so much. It was an early training ground for sales. And after that, I decided, you know what? I'm not working at W-2. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I'm going to go down the route of real estate. I got into real estate investing. I did it for about three and a half years. At 21 years old, I was flipping houses, wholesaling houses, had some business partner, had some mentors, was learning and leveling up. I made multiple six figures throughout those years in real estate. It was a great time, but here's the thing. Even though on the outside, it looked like there was some success going on the outside, it looked like there was some fulfillment going on, there wasn't. Because deep at the core, I had a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of things I haven't healed from, and things I didn't process. And as a result from that, I lost all my money. I lost my relationships. I lost business partners. I faced betrayals. I had trust issues. My health was at an all-time low. I was stuck chasing vices like drinking, alcohol, girls, and things I should not have been doing until, you know what? I decided, you know what? I have nothing. At the bottom of the barrel, at the lowest point of my life, that's when I remember the wise words from my mom. My mom told me this, Eliam, when you have nothing, that's when you will find everything. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, because when you have absolutely nothing, that's when God will always be there and he will be there to pick you up. So I made a decision in 2023 to return back to my faith. I'm a Christian and devote my life to God and say, God, I'm putting my life in your hands. What do you want me to do? And he took me through this tremendous journey of transformation, of leadership, emotional intelligence, public speaking, and all these different things of the sort. And at that same time, I was still building up my real estate business. I was still making some good money, but there came a moment where I needed to surrender. And that was at the beginning of 2025. And God said, hey, I need you to leave it all behind. I need you to leave it all behind and go down this route of public speaking. And Eliam, you're going to need to trust me. You're going to need to trust me that this is the route that I'm planning that I have for you. And you need to have faith in this journey because I'm not going to show you what the step-by-steps is and what the roadmap is because you're going to be building it along the way. And I said, okay, God, anything else? And he said, yes. God was like, you know what? I'm also going to put you through the most vulnerable, challenging positions you have ever faced in your life. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to face challenges. I'm going to face obstacles in starting this new business venture of public speaking. And he was like, yes, you are. And I said, you know what? Sign me up because the things that I've been doing in the past is not working and I need to try and transform to something new. Fast forward a year and a half later, we're a professional speaker. We're speaking on stages, different cities across the country, speaking at different country, speaking in Australia before. We spoke in a whole different country. That was super cool. We've been coached by some of the top experts in the business, in the industry. I'm kind of low key. I don't have a big social media following, but I have lots of knowledge and lots of wisdom and a big heart to be able to serve you and impact your life. We've been able to speak, we've been able to coach, impact hundreds of students one-on-one directly from this company, helping you transform your story, your public speaking, your communication into impact, into influence, and into income. And at the speaking side, dude, I've spoken at so many different organizations and students and come in there as a motivational, transformational speaker, making them feel good. And it has been a blissful journey. So that's a very, very quick recap on what my journey has been like up until this moment, because now we're almost at a year since we launched Master Communicator University. And Master Communicator University is an educational and personal, not professional. You could say it's professional as well. Yeah, we could serve that. Here's what I wrote down for you. It's an educational and personal development company. So what do we educate on? What do we support you in developing in your personal and professional life? Well, that's what we call Master Communicator University, which is called MCU. It's kind of like the Marvels, Avengers. That's kind of where I got the inspiration from because I have this big vision in the future to create the MCU of speakers. Just like the MCU Avengers, we're going to create the MCU of speakers, and hopefully that's you someday. So as we're building up MCU, there's five core pillars that we're going to focus on. And here are the 5 core pillars that we're going to focus on. In this company, the first pillar, the most important one, is going to be faith. On your end, you can write the word faith. Make sure you're taking notes throughout this entire process. Why faith? Well, here's the thing. When I look at it as myself as a leader and I see the core values in my life, honestly, I would not have been able to accomplish what we've been able to accomplish in the past year and a half if it wasn't for faith. Being able to serve hundreds of students, being able to already cross almost 6 figures in this new public speaking business, being able to go through the obstacles, go through the challenges, and grow as a person in my heart, but also in my mind if it wasn't for faith. You see, faith is this. Faith is the belief in something greater than yourself. For me, it's I believe in God. For you, hey, I recommend you believe in God too, because faith is an integral part. Having that belief system of optimism, something greater than you, something that's pulling you, something that keeps you grounded. Because the other thing on the opposite side of faith is fear. You can either operate out of faith, you could operate out of fear. You choose. At the end of the day, you're always making a conscious choice. What are you placing your faith in? Are you placing your faith in something greater, or are you placing your faith in the fear where it keeps you small? So faith is the number one important thing in our company, in our pillar, because look, I've built companies, I've built businesses that weren't on good soil, and they're not here anymore. They have failed. They're gone. Relationships, friendships, partnerships, things that I did not build on faith, they're not here anymore. But the things that I have built on faith, the things that I built on good soil, they're still here. And if you build on good soil, you'll be able to build really, really great stuff in your life as well. So faith, number one pillar. And well, now that I talk about faith, well, MCU, who are we serving? We're serving faith-driven leaders. Faith-driven leaders that are entrepreneurs, coaches, creators, and aspiring speakers. We support them in these 5 areas. So number one is going to be faith. You're going to be able to grow in your faith journey as well. I'm growing, you're growing. Hey, let's grow together. The next thing that we focus on inside MCU is going to be leadership. Leadership. Go ahead and say leadership wherever you are. If you're sitting on your desk, you're sitting in your car, everybody say, I am a leader. So say, I am a leader. I am a leader. For the longest time ever, for about 23 years of my life, I resisted leadership. I was reluctant to leadership, but I always knew I was called to be a leader no matter what. And I always felt like a heavy burden and responsibility. But now I see it as a privilege. It's a gratitude. It's a gift. It's an opportunity to be able to serve other people. Inside MCU, you'll be able to grow inside your leadership, being able to serve others, being able to lead from the front, from the back, from the side. What you need to develop as a leader to be able to fulfill your vision, to be able to fulfill your purpose, your values, we're going to just dial that in as in leadership. So you'll be able to grow in leadership. I've gone through extensive 2-year programs on developing as a leader and training other leaders. And we're going to continue doing that. Because if I'm a leader, you're a leader. The moment you wake up out of your bed, you're leading one foot in front of the other. Now, I'm getting excited. I'm getting passionate. I'm getting enthusiastic. Now we're going to keep rolling. So what is the third pillar we focus on? Well, the third pillar that comes to mind right now is going to be called EQ. Everybody say EQ. In other words, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, being able to understand and manage your own emotions, being able to be aware of them, understand them, and manage your own emotions. That way you're not living a life of reactiveness and you're living a life of conscious wisdom responses. You're not letting life trigger you. External events that are happening around you are not happening to you, they're happening for you. It's what's going on internally and how are you going to respond from that? How are you going to respond when life is lifing? Are you going to respond with anger, excuses, anxiousness, isolation, or are you going to respond with something that moves you forward? And that's going to be emotional intelligence. And oh my goodness, I wish I had emotional intelligence way younger in my age. However, I'm fortunate enough to know about it now. Emotional intelligence is going to be the third pillar because we tie emotional intelligence to your mindset. You need to have the mindset of a leader. You need to have the mindset and understand your emotions before you start speaking to the world, before you start communicating to the world. So we're now laying the foundations. As you see, this is evolving. So what's the next thing about EQ? What we're going to have is communication. The next pillar is going to be communication. So let me share with you communication. Everybody say communication. Say communication wherever you're at right now. Communication. Communication. Now, one more thing I'm going to share about EQ. There's this artificial intelligence and then there's emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is one of those things that can be really hard to replicate by AI. They're getting really good at it. But you as a human being, if you're able to connect to people in person, in real life, the way I'm doing right now, like you're the camera, you're the person, if you're able to do that stuff in real life, oh my goodness, it's gonna be game changer. Communication. Your ability to communicate will determine the quality of life that you live. Now that's not my quote, that's from my coach and teacher, Vin Zhang. He has the #1 communication education company in the world called Stage Academy. He teaches hundreds of thousands of students and he's been able to coach me and provide wisdom to me. He said, communication, your ability to communicate, how effectively you communicate will determine your ability and the quality of your life. How much you earn, where you live, what is it that you do, how fulfilled you are, your relationships, your family life. In communication, we support you in improving your communication skills because at MCU, we believe that you are the common denominator of your life. And the one skill that goes with you everywhere you go is your ability to communicate. It's communication skills. And we need to learn how to communicate from a place of influence, persuasion, sales, all these different things. How you communicate with your body, how you communicate with your voice, with your facial expressions. We got that covered and we're going to support you on growing in that area. And then last but not least, which is the most important one, actually, no, they're all important. I've already said that multiple different times. One of my favorite ones is going to be public speaking. Public speaking. Yes. Public speaking. That's you going up on a stage or you standing in front of a huge crowd of people or a small crowd of people and you publicly speak out in the open. You share your voice, you share your message, you share the thought that's in your heart or in your mind and you share that and you express it and you expose yourself to that risk of probably getting judged, of probably getting ridiculed, of probably being looked at different, Or you may end up getting the reward of motivating people, transforming their life, moving them into action, them enrolling into your vision and being a part about what is it that you are building. Public speaking is phenomenal because here's the thing. If you look around at the top leaders in the world, if you look around at the people who get probably paid the most in this world, chances are that I'm willing to bet they are great public speakers. A leader needs to develop the skill set of public speaking. Don't wait until the future to develop public speaking. Start developing it now. Meaning if you have a business, if you have a community, if you have a team, start speaking in front of them now and develop that skill. And inside MCU, hey, we're helping you develop in that skill and in that area. So these are the 5 pillars that we're building inside this company. Now I'm 25 years old. I'm in this for the long haul. This is my Amazon. This is my Microsoft. MCU, this is what I'm dedicating my life to, being a public speaker and supporting other people and transforming their life. And these are the 5 pillars that I found that when you work on these things every single day, your life will literally transform. So why am I telling you all of this? Because, well, the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because we're here to serve faith-driven leaders. We're here to serve faith-driven leaders that are entrepreneurs, creators, coaches, and aspiring speakers. Because look, you have a story, you have a message, you have a God-given responsibility to make sure that the thing you have inside you is out in the world so you could transform people's life. And one of the people that I end up looking up to the most and I learned from the most, especially reading my Bible, is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the best public speaker that's ever existed because his message still lives to this day, and Jesus loves you and he will be with you. And he's the one that's supported me in all these different areas. So I invite you to look into that, to build that relationship, because the people we're serving are faith-driven leaders. They know they have a purpose. You know you have a vision. You know you have something great inside of you. And if you want to work with us, the time will come when we work with each other. This is what I got for you in this entire video. Here's what I'm building as a 25-year-old entrepreneur for the rest of my life. Excited that you joined on this YouTube video. Stay tuned. We have more videos coming up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.